Welcome to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it in life. And very much so in your health journey, it's important to learn how to know when to rest, and not only how to know when to rest, but to take the time to rest in the time that is best for you. Sometimes when you're going through life and when you're going through this health journey, you can be going through some tough times for a long time. You know, it's an up and down thing. You know, you have some seasons that are not as hard as other seasons, and you have seasons where it's like everything is being thrown at you at one time, and you're in a real battle. You're entrenched in a real battle. You're warring, and you get tired. You get mentally tired, you get spiritually tired, you get emotionally tired, and sometimes you're just drained and you need to rest. But it's not always an opportune time to rest, you know, especially because when you're going through health issues have a huge effect on a person's finances, right? And when money isn't always plentifully abundant, right? It's not always easy to say, you know what, I'm going to take a vacation right now. I'm going to check out because I need to rest, you know. And sometimes because money isn't where you need it to be at the time you need it to be, it's not a good time for you to stop and rest, because you got to keep moving, you got to keep going. And so one thing I've learned, because you know we've experienced all of that, and what we've learned in that is that you have to be able to discern and know when it's time to rest and when it's time to take a rest, and take a vacation if you can. And when you're going through health issues, vacations aren't they're few and far between, right? Sometimes it's just not feasible, it's not doable, and not just because of the money, but because of the health issue that's going on. And so you still have to know how to take a rest and take a breather within those times. And so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit here today. It's about knowing when to rest and taking that time, and different ways in which one can rest. When you're going through tough times and you're really entrenched in battle, and sometimes it can be short and sometimes it can be, you know, extra lengthy, and even in those times you need to take breaks and you need to steal away, and you need to know how to do that, how to get away, to relax your mind, to refresh yourself even in the midst of what you're going through. Now remember, in all things you have to do what's best for your family, and what is rest to you may not speak rest to me. When I speak of rest, I'm talking about getting into that place where you're refreshed, where you can let it all down and you can rejuvenate, recuperate, right? And strengthen yourself. There are times where we were in deep crisis, and to go anywhere was not really an option. We did travel for health, but it was a battle. It was a battle to be able to travel, and traveling options, every option had its own set of difficulties. So it was hard. So we were not going to travel for a vacation. We were not going to travel just for fun, and every dime we had we were putting into my health. So there were things that we had to learn how to do. We had to learn how to take a break within the household, shut it all down, turn it all down. But there was times where the weightiness and the heaviness was so heavy in our home that to take a break within the house was not getting away from it. There was no break within the home because of the weight of what we were going through and that heaviness that rested within the home. So sometimes for us, a break was to get out of the house, because in the house the phone is still going to ring, dishes still need to be washed, food needs to still be made. So for us, we would go and get us a suite, and we would stay in a suite sometimes for one day, one night. Sometimes we would stay in a suite for a couple days, a couple nights, and sometimes we spent a week in a suite. We were still able to do the things that we needed to do. If there were appointments, or if there were things that, you know, needed to be taken care of, we could still take care of it. However, we were in a new environment, and every day someone else came in and cleaned up, you know. And we can have food ordered in, or cook certain foods within the suite because I had a special diet that I needed to maintain in restaurants at the pricing in which we needed it. Weren't in a position to handle that. So we had to do the things that we needed to do. But there were times when we couldn't get up and get out of the house, and that was not an option. And even though we were in the house and that weightiness was there, we had to learn how to rest even in the midst of the weightiness. And so for years, I told you guys, eating out was not an option. So for us, it might have been just, you know, doing sandwiches or putting something in a roaster or something and eating off of it for a couple days, or throwing out the grill because we're big on grilling here. We like barbecuing, and, you know, doing something like that. But whatever we had to do, whether it was just we're not answering the phone, we're just chilling and just allowing our mind to rest, to try to escape the things that we're going through. Those are some things that we had to do sometimes. But then in other seasons, you know, it was a little easier. We could go visit family or go out of town or go on a vacation or do something like that. And we took those. But when you're going through life issues and things are happening, sometimes you have a sense things are going down a direction where you know you're about to be entrenched in battle for a while. Sometimes you have a sense that things are going to pick up, treatments are going to pick up, things are going to be happening, but right now they're not happening. And even though you're in preparation mode, or even though you know that you need to start, you know, preparing for the things that are coming, or things are going to get ready to pick up, those are times sometimes when it's a good time to steal away. If you could take a weekend and just steal away, or if you can just steal away within your home, take a staycation, or do whatever it is that you need to do to mentally unwind, because you know that it's coming. Why am I talking to you guys about all of this, right? Because when you're entrenched in some things, or when you've been going at stuff for a long time and you have not had a chance to refresh yourself, to rejuvenate yourself, to unwind, what happens is the weight of life weighs in on you, and you will find yourself at the most inopportune time needing a break. Because sometimes it's not so much that you're physically drained as you're mentally and emotionally drained. And if you are mentally and emotionally drained, it physically drains you. And sometimes when you're physically and mentally up, mentally and spiritually, emotionally up, but your body is tired, you can still continue on, because your mind and your spirit and your emotions are able to drive your body. So you have to learn how to identify the opportune times for you to just step away from life and just get a break and get to yourself and to relax and to unwind. So you're going to have to figure out those times in advance. You don't want to be caught at the wrong time needing that and not having the energy, the fuel, the strength to endure and to go on in the most crucial times when you need it. So that's why I give you those videos like Celebrate. I haven't released it yet. I don't know if I'm going to release it before this one or after, but videos like Celebrate, or I've talked to you in many other videos about how, like, after the storm, you need to take the time to gather yourself with your family and do the things that you need to do. I've talked to you about this stuff a lot, but I really never talked to you from this angle and this in depth. You need to be able to identify those moments. And sometimes you're in those highs and you don't really feel like you need a break, but you know you're going into a time and you know it's probably a good time to take one anyway. But learn to discern it. And caregivers, you know, you can do that for your loved one, and loved one that's going through, you can identify those times for your caregivers. It may not be that you're going to go through something in your health. It may just be that life is about to pick up. And so you need to make sure that you bring that to the attention of your caregiver and do what you need to do to make sure that happens. So remember, in all things, do you. Your rest and your place of rest and peace may not look like mine, but the results should always be the same. So in all things, do you. Have a great day. Until next week. Bye.